Man, we got we got something to talk about off the cuff today.
Oh God, yeah, we do. Yeah, we really do.
And you know, we gotta we gotta correct a wrong that's going on in just like the wrestling community. Just a wrong thought that they had, and I think we have the perfect place to talk about it.
You know what? You know what? Tell them where we're going to talk
What's
about
up?
it.
Oh, we're going to talk about it on the Anime Games of Pro Wrestling podcast, off the cuff.
Woo! One more time.
We're going to talk to them about this on the Anime Games and Pro Wrestling podcast off the cuff episode,
Woo!
which is right now.
Right now, because we had an emergency. We had something that really needed to be talked about today.
Yeah, the bat signal flew up and we were ready to go.
We had some dumb people on the internet talking real spicy and real stupid. We got to correct some people.
Yeah, we got to correct this wrong.
We're gonna do this a little bit different. I want you let me and the people know what we're about to talk about today. Profit.
So, what we're going to talk about today is the fact that people think Swerve was going to be a transitional champion. And it was just going to that AEW was going to have him as a transitional champion, and that they were going to have Swerve just drop the title to Osprey because Osprey's hot right now. But I guess they all forget Swerve is getting it's hot right now too. So um, yeah, and that's where it lies. And today a report came out that um the reason why our boy Will Osprey, shout out to Will Osprey, you're awesome,
Shout out.
did the match was to shut people up, was to show them no, Swerve isn't a transitional champion. He is the AEW World Champion. And he's like, it's pretty much a thing of, I don't mind losing to the world champion because guess what? He's the world champ. And everybody in this locker room should be able to take that, go against him, take a loss, and do the same. And it's not going to diminish you because you're going against the champion. So we're going to talk about that today.
Man, okay. So I have some thoughts. I
Okay.
I have a lot of thoughts. I'm gonna be very respectful first. Then I'm gonna get on the internet because I have to, right? Um,
Okay. Let's do it.
we're gonna be respectful first. Uh, why did people think Swerve was gonna be a transitional champion? Why?
Huh?
I don't understand why people even thought that that was an idea to begin with. Also, who what is the length of a transitional champion? Like what to the eyes of the people outside of wrestling? How long does someone have to be a champion to be a transitional champion?
You know what, man? Here's something funny. Okay. So there is no length for a transitional champion.
Thank you.
So if people actually watched wrestling, these people that are talking this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
At one point in time, Bob Backlund is pretty much the longest so-called transitional champion ever. I think he had the WWF title for like 2 years. They called that and he is named a transitional champion to most people.
I don't. I. Mm, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it makes no sense at all.
So
He
is
wasn't a transitional champion. He was the champion.
was Roman Reigns a transitional champion to Cody?
Well, no, he is the longest reigning champion to sit on his ass at home. Oh, I'm sorry.
Ooh, ooh.
He is the longest reigning champion that doesn't wrestle. Oh, wait.
Oh no.
Um, Shit, man. Oh, I gotta say this nicely. In respect to the tribal chief that's not on TV right now. Oh, fuck, I did it again. No,
No. Oh no.
no, he's not a transitional champion. He was the champion.
Was MJF a transitional champion to Samoa Joe?
No, he wasn't.
No. Let's see. Let's get another. Let's get some more examples. Was Seth Rollins a transitional champion when he lost it 10 years ago?
No, of course not.
I got one more for you. Was
Okay, what you
uh
got?
was John Moxley a transitional champion when he lost the title? AEW or
Which person?
WWE? Either one.
So WWE? No,
AEW?
no. He was not a transitional champion. You know what? If anything, all the times John Moxley held the title in AEW, he heightened AEW and he showed why he's the ace.
Okay.
Period.
I thank you. I looked up some things earlier today,
Okay.
right? I looked up discourse. I don't know if people know this. I hate discourse a lot. This is going to sound crazy, but I really don't care about the opinions of people that I don't know. You know what I mean? Um
Hmm.
I really don't. Do you want to know some people that they call transitional champions on Twitter over the last few years?
Okay. Who?
They called Kofi Kingston a transitional champion.
Oh God.
They called Big E a transitional champion.
Oh, I'm seeing a pattern here.
There was a point that's not this one isn't happening anymore, thankfully. Someone called Athena, our current reigning Ring of Honor Women's Champion, the figurehead and the ace of Ring of Honor. They called her a transitional champion. Uh,
I'm seeing a pattern here.
People have called Sasha Banks transitional champion. Um,
Oh, hey.
we'll go to TNA. People have called Naomi transitional champion when she was there. Trinity,
Even though she held the title for what?
like
I think it
six,
was almost 200, 200 something days.
yeah, like 6 to 8 months, sometime around there. 6 to 8.
Yeah, six
Um,
to eight. Yeah.
yeah. There's a big reason why I don't like wrestling discourse is there's actually a couple reasons. One, I'm gonna put us in there too, so I don't sound like I'm just talking about people. We don't know what the fuck we're talking about. We don't know what's happening in the walls of any wrestling company. We can say whatever we want. Opinions are fine. Have your opinions. We don't know the ins and outs. Even people like Ross Sapp, even people like that don't know the ins and outs of what's going on. They don't know. They get news. Yes. They're not in the rooms. They're not in the building. They go off of hearsay. Wrestling discourse and wrestling media all goes off of hearsay and opinions. That's all it is. And two, and I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it flat out. Whenever someone black or anyone outside of a white person does great for themselves in wrestling, there's always an asterisk. Always. It never
Yep.
fails.
Never fails.
And that is the problem with wrestling discourse. And people don't want to talk about it, obviously, right? Because there will be a bias there, right? No one wants to see bias, but it happens all the time. We saw it with Kofi Mania. People were like, "Oh, Kofi Mania was a great moment," and then people were immediately trying to get the title off of him.
Oh
Swerve,
yeah, of course.
Swerve, when he beat Samoa Joe, people were immediately calling for Osprey. They were like, "Osprey all in, Osprey all in." 24 hours after Swerve won the title, he hadn't even done anything yet.
Yep.
Everyone was happy for Big E when he won the title, right? Everyone was so happy. And then immediately, the next day, people were planning what to do next. That's why wrestling discourse makes no sense, and we don't need to be talking about things. And again, we made the point before, there is no such thing as a transitional champion. You can be a champion for 2 weeks. You're still a champion. Why is
Yeah.
there an asterisk behind around people? Like, it doesn't make sense. especially from people who have not been in a wrestling ring to do it. Like, you can't do it. Why are you trying to put other people on different pedestals? You are a fucking fan. Nothing else.
Yeah. To add to that, it's just in general, everybody what the label of a transitional champion that people are always labeling somebody as is, for the most part, the champion they don't want.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is. Like, we named all the black champions, all of them were so-called transitional champions or and stuff like that, even though there's a lot of them that had long title reigns. Let's just put that out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even the example I made earlier, Bob Backlund, right?
Yeah.
The longest transition champion of all time.
It just,
He was, you know, he was pretty much WWF champ for almost 2 years or a little bit more. And they called him a transitional champion. You know why? Because they didn't want him as champion. Did they call the Iron Sheik a transitional champion after he beat him? No.
no.
Did they call Sergeant Slaughter, who only had the championship for like 80 days? No.
No. Mick
And then
Foley either.
Hogan, oh yeah, Mick Foley with his title run. No, they didn't do that. Like the only other person I saw all right, here's the real definition of a transitional champion, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When Taz was in WWF, right? Mike Awesome, I think it was when, yeah, Mike Awesome signed the fucking WCW and was like, "Hey, I just want to drop this fucking belt as soon as possible. I don't want it anymore." And Paul Heyman's like, "Okay, you're gonna drop it on this day and then get the fuck out." So Paul Heyman asked Vince McMahon for a favor to have Taz come down to ECW, and he did. He beats, you know, he beats Mike Awesome, and literally like about, I think it was like one episode later of, no, I think it was within the same episode, about 15 minutes later, somebody else came, takes the ECW title from Taz. That's
Yeah.
Get the title off of one person because they're leaving, and then have somebody like, you know, he came in, took the title so that they didn't have to worry about him taking it to WCW and doing the Medusa thing and immediately dropping it to somebody else. That's a transitional champion.
That's a definition that I can accept because it's also the truth. That is an actual transition, right?
Right.
But
And this is something that actually happened.
a lot of fans like to use wrestling terms like they know them. Like, okay, we've used this term before, so again, what I'm saying is everyone does this and all of us need to stop it. The term jobber. We do not need to be using the jobber term. We don't. Can we see what it is? Do we know the definition? Yes. We don't need to be doing that. We don't. Um
That's one of those things you can thank WWF for.
yeah.
They made a whole faction called the Job Squad.
It's just we don't need to be doing that stuff. And I think what pisses me off more about this whole Swerve thing is that he even said it in his press conference. I wish I could like play a clip, but we can't because we would get slapped down super hard.
Get
But
slapped down quick.
God, quick in whatever. But Swerve even said, because he said that everyone was impressed with what happened with Ospreay, but people are just gonna forget about it. He's gonna have to prove himself again. He's gonna do it again and again and again. Look at Swerve's title reign. It's been a few months now, right? Christian match was
Oh yeah.
fantastic. He wrestled Kyle Fletcher, which was a great match. Uh, he Osprey was a fantastic match. People were doubting that main event. People were even us. We were like, "Ooh, is it too early to do this? We don't know." But it worked. Those opinions are fine. If you're trying to belittle Swerve, who is a literal world champion in one of the biggest wrestling companies in the world because you just don't want to see him as champion, fuck you. Disrespectfully, fuck you.
Well, actually, you know what's funny? That's not the first AEW champion people call the transitional champion.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Say who the other
Hangman,
one was.
my boy Hangman Adam Page.
Yep.
They were like, "Oh, he was just a transitional champion." No, he wasn't. He
Be-
was the guy.
because who showed up?
That's who showed up. Oh, we all know who showed up. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
thank God his ass is back in WWE and getting hurt again. Um, but they were trying to say he was a transitional champion. No, he was not a transitional champion. He was the guy.
He
You
I
watch his matches, he did fucking fantastic.
I know the people who are saying that never watched AEW, but there was a literal year-long storyline to put Hangman in the position of being champion.
Yes.
You know the alcoholic thing that people are really excited about on Twitter? Like, oh, Hangman's drinking, he's back. That was a whole year-long storyline where Hangman had to break himself down and build himself up for a year against the people he came in the company with, against the elite. He took the title from Kenny fucking Omega and held it for 7 fucking months. He is not a transitional champion. He was built to be the guy.
Right. And the thing is, like, not, I think this is the one thing people don't get is the fact that not everyone needs to have a 3-year title reign, right?
Right.
That's for like a very special instance, right? Like, there's only a few people that have done it and it's been good, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the people that people don't want to fucking name, but I'll name drop him anyway because I fucking love the guy, Jay Lethal.
Yes.
Jay Lethal is the longest running fucking TV champion in Ring of Honor history. And that TV title reign that he had led to him being the world champion.
Great matches with Jay Briscoe, by the way. Fantastic.
With fucking barn burners with Jay Briscoe.
God, man. Rest in
They were
peace.
wars. Man, they were fucking great. So yeah, shout out to Jay Lethal. I got you. Um, so the other person that comes to mind that had like a 2-year TV title reign and would have probably been longer if he didn't break his damn foot when doing a slide kick is Rob Van Dam.
Yes.
In ECW, Rob Van Dam was so goddamn good that there was nobody besides like the matches he did with Jerry Lynn and Rhino, nobody else could touch him. And I implore you guys, go back and watch some old ECW. Because if you see some of those matches, like for instance, those Rob Van Dam TV title matches, where he's going balls to the wall, they are fantastic, they're insane, and they're also like show you the precursors of what you're seeing right now today in current wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a two like it was two almost like it was a 2-year run. They were gonna he was gonna keep the title for another year if he didn't break his foot.
God.
Right? So like those are the times where long title reigns work.
I can give you another one outside of the States.
Go for it, man.
When Okada won the championship, what about God, was it like 10 years ago now? Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, it might have been like 8 years ago. When Okada held the IWGP heavyweight title for 2 years, what people claim to be one of the greatest world title runs of all time.
Right.
Another barn burner. He had incredible matches throughout his entire run as champion. This is why I am I going to say this the way I'm going to say it? I am. This is why I
Just go ahead and
hate.
say it.
This is why I hate WWE, because they have done so much damage to the brains of people who like to watch wrestling. People think that whatever WWE does, everyone else has to do. And it's frustrating as a fan to see it on Twitter every day with wrestlers who fucking break their literal bones and backs to help to just entertain us for however long they are doing what they're doing, just for fucking idiots who couldn't even lace up their boots or do anything in a wrestling ring to try to navigate where they should be. And it's fucking frustrating.
Yeah, and it's the fact that, and we talked a little bit about it last podcast, where that monopoly that happened when Vince bought up all the wrestling companies, right? And there was only WWE for fuck. It was like
20 years.
20 years, right? So he fed everybody all the fucking bullshit and terrible stuff for all those years because there was no competition because he bought it all. And right now we're seeing the product of that. People grew up watching, only watching WWE and only think that's the only thing when there was like all these other companies out there doing it. And thank God for AEW
Yeah.
being another American pro wrestling company, right? Like, because like if not for that, they'd still be doing the same thing.
Yeah. People seem to forget about all the low periods WWE was having before COVID hit, before the Thunderdome. Like what people are talking about AEW about, like, oh, half empty arenas, all that other bullshit. WWE was experiencing that on and off for about 10 years.
Oh yeah, they were having empty house shows.
Yeah, I don't think people understand that. Like, if it I'm not saying it if it wasn't for AEW, but I think AEW did really good in making WWE better. But if we did not have an alternative in America that we can watch on TV here, wrestling in America would probably be dead. Straight up.
Oh yeah, no, it would just be WWE, and I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that world again.
We saw how that went. We had a TNA, we had a Ring of Honor. We've had some places that were able to do things, but they didn't have a market share because they were impossible to watch. Okay, you brought up Jay Lethal and Jay Briscoe when they were feuding for the world title and when they were doing the double champion stuff. It was hard to find it because at that time I didn't even know about New Japan or anything like that, so I didn't even know where to find other wrestling. It was impossible for me. So I was out of wrestling for a while because I just didn't want to watch WWE anymore.
Hmm.
Like, and it's frustrating. And I don't know why people want that back. I don't.
Yeah, and I'll just say like just in general, I think pro wrestling is probably in the best spot it's ever been.
Yeah.
Um, I can't wait for AEW to be on TV for 94 weeks for so Bischoff can shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, there's and as we're seeing right now, there are some consequences to certain things happening at the moment. Like we're just a I don't know. I don't mean to like steer the subject
No, man, go ahead.
out of whack, but right now, if you watch TNA, if you watch TNA now versus a year ago, oh shit, versus 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
during the whole Scott Demore time, right? Um, TNA was the medium, the happy medium between AEW and WWE.
Yeah.
They had they had pretty damn good. They had pretty good wrestling. and so they weren't like completely like full on wrestling like AEW. So they had good wrestling, and then they had storylines. But the storylines weren't crazy like WWE storylines. They were kind of like the basic storylines. They were the happy medium of the fucking two companies.
Yeah.
Now that they're catering to WWE now, TNA is almost unwatchable. Literally, it is almost unwatchable. The match quality is went way downhill. And you know me, I was like, at one point at a time, I was like, damn, TNA is doing some good shit over there. They're doing great matches. They're doing great everything.
Yeah.
And now they're kind of like falling off. You could see the wheels falling off for that company. And it's just sad to see because they went from being the happy medium to being getting closer to the WWE side to being WWE light. And that's the thing that fucked them up the first time when Bischoff and Hogan went over there and changed everything to be that.
God. The
And it's
2010s.
it's it's slowly turning to that way. And you could see it in the match quality. Match quality went down. You have I don't want to say you have a bunch of WWE guys over there, doing the stuff, but you have some of the guys over there, right? Like, so you got Nick Nemeth, which is Dolph Ziggler. You got the Hardys now.
Dana Brooks over there now. Ash by Elegance.
Yeah, Ash by Elegance, which she couldn't wait to show her ass back up on NXT during the title match between Jordan Grace and Roxanne.
Yeah.
You have Bully Ray, who was the sleeper agent over there.
Literally.
even though he's trying to say he wasn't, but it's like, motherfucker, we know you're on that WWE Legends contract.
Yes, sir.
So come on, stop bullshitting, right? Um, Not so much Tommy Dreamer. Tommy Dreamer's kind of Tommy Dreamer. He's just the guy that came from ECW. Not necessarily WWE guy. He's just the dude that came from ECW.
He had the
Right.
digital media championship for too long. I think he shouldn't have had that for as long as he did, but neither here nor there.
Yeah. Just give it back to Joe Hendry. He's
Yeah.
your digital media guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's slowly turning into WWE Light or the next level above NXT for their it's literally an NXT 2.
NXT 2.0.
I guess so, man. And you see where 2.0 went and where it is now, so it's
people
not that great.
people seem to like it. I don't get it. I watched it. I've watched a couple episodes of the new NXT. I'm not really a fan, honestly.
Not me neither. Black and gold all day.
Yeah. I think I want to go back to Swerve for a second.
Yeah, yeah.
Um I think people don't understand the impact that Swerve has had as world champion. I really don't.
Oh no, they don't. They don't. And here's something funny about that. On the Swerve podcast, when was talking about Osprey was talking about the impact Swerve had as a champion.
Yeah.
Um, because he said he loves Swerve being champion because it's somebody his son can his son can identify with.
Yeah.
And like having I don't think people realize the impact of having a champion of color on TV. Not some side champion, not the TNT champion, not the Intercontinental champion. No, none of that. The world champion.
And a world champion that is seen as a big deal. Like
Right.
when Swerve is on TV, you can feel it. So just look at the build between Swerve and Osprey. It was incredible. It's also
Oh yeah.
because that's partly because of Swerve also. And I think people
Oh yeah,
forget that
yeah.
he was in there. He is the world champion.
Swerve is the world champ. Like, I don't know what people get on about. They can shut the fuck up. He's the champ, right? Like, no more of this. Oh, he's a transitional guy and all that other shit, right? Like, he's the champion. Get over it. It's not who you want. I don't give a fuck. And he's the guy,
I,
and he's the guy for a reason.
I want to give you another little piece of information that came out today.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw this.
No, I didn't. Well, actually, let me hear it first.
um, Tokyo Sports did an expose on Swerve.
Hmm.
Tokyo Sports, and I don't know if people know how big of a deal that is because Swerve hasn't really been on New Japan. Really, he wrestled Jay White a couple years ago after he left WWE, right? But he hasn't really been on New Japan like that. And Tokyo Sports only really deals with 90% wrestlers that are wrestling actively in Japan. Tokyo Sports is a big thing over there, and they did something on Swerve, who has not wrestled in Japan.
Yeah.
That's Impact.
I.
That's a huge deal.
Oh yeah, it is a huge deal. Um. I and it's people putting on the blinders and they don't want to see that, which is pretty sad. You know. It's a huge deal that. And again, guys, this also proves this guy ain't no transitional champion. And I know you hate Chris Jericho,
I did too, actually.
but I no, no, I say I know you hate Chris
Oh
Jericho.
yeah, yeah.
Me, not so much. I don't hate his gimmicks or anything like that. They're
Oh
kind of
no.
hilarious.
Oh no.
But what Chris Jericho said, and he's been very fucking vocal about saying this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is when they got Swerve and then he started seeing him Swerve do his thing, Jericho was like, yo, Tony, this is the guy you should be building up. This is the guy. He needs to be world champ.
Yeah.
This is Jericho telling Tony Khan that. He's like, yo, he needs to be world champ because he will he's somebody that can bring in more people than like than like some of the others that you put as champ. He will have more eyes on him as champion than say like me or somebody else. He's like, you need to put the championship on him. And this is me paraphrasing that, so it's not the quote for quote.
No, that's fine. But Jericho, one of the greatest of all time, who should take a couple months off right now. Jericho, um, one of the greatest of all time, is saying that about Swerve. You can just watch Swerve. Like, as a fan of wrestling, Swerve is just he's so different. Like the way he moves, the way he transitions, the things that he does in a ring are things that me as a lifelong fan I've never seen before. Like it's Swerve is incredible. And I don't
Oh yeah.
I will never understand why people are so quick to just move away from him. Like he's been doing great things. Like he is a great champion, and he's the champion that AEW needs right now in this period. He's getting more eyes. He's look, we're just gonna keep it a stack. He's getting a lot of like young black kids watching wrestling. Him and Mercedes, because they see a champion that is representing them that we in wrestling we don't get often.
Oh yeah, like for sure. And I don't know, the thing now is just people just don't want to see that, and it's unfortunate. And they're always relating it to something else. It's become how do I say this? It has become unfortunately political for people.
Yeah.
And without going down that fucking rabbit hole, because I don't want to go down that shit.
Yeah, we don't have to.
It's it's become that, and then so every time now something happens, you put a person of color somewhere. Hell, you put a woman as a lead as something else. It's this three-letter thing that's going on. Um, they always think it's that. They're always like, oh, they're doing it just for inclusion. No, motherfucker. Maybe these guys are really that good. Do you ever think about that? Do you ever think they're good enough to do this? It's not just for fucking inclusion. It's so that there's a bunch of people that deemed these guys the top of the company and gave them their full confidence to be this company's champion. It's not just for inclusion.
Yeah. Uh, have you heard what's been happening with Mercedes and the discourse around her currently?
Yeah, again, it goes back to the shit that we were just talking about. Dumbass people. Like, you do know. Okay. Let's set this up, right?
Mm-hmm.
During the Mercedes and Stephanie Vacker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Midway through, people started booing the stuff Mercedes was doing, right?
After being very quiet for the first half of the match, yeah.
Yeah, because Long Island sucks as a fucking crowd. I'll just put that out there now.
God, yeah, they do.
Um, they started booing Mercedes. So what did Mercedes do? Like a true fucking vet, a true goddamn pro in goddamn wrestling. You know what she did? She
What she do?
started playing to that.
Yeah, she did.
She started being the goddamn heel. She did an old school pro wrestling thing. She actually did pro wrestling. That's what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not just like play like, oh shit, they're booing me. I'm just gonna play face the whole time. No.
Pretend like it's
They
not
start
happening.
booing you. If they start booing you, come on. Come on with it. Give me all that shit. Right? And that's what Mercedes did. She switched it up so Stephanie Vacker got the cheers. She got the boos. And they switched it mid-match just like that.
Yeah.
So you got these bullshit news outlets going, oh no, they were booing Mercedes Monet. Yes, because she was playing the heel.
They also were saying like fuck the Celtics. Like they were Mercedes is a Boston Celtics fan. She was there when that stupid fucking team won the finals that I don't want to talk about. But she's a she's a Celtics fan. They were in New York. Like this is why I don't like wrestling media. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but wrestling media is turning into what ESPN is right now. ESPN doesn't really cover news. They just do clickbait and fucking hit pieces. We don't need that. We don't need that in wrestling. I am very sick of these wannabe journalists going around and trying to make up stories for shit that we don't need to know. Like I'm I got spoiled that Britt Baker was gonna show up tonight, or not tonight, but on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Because we were doing the cast and you're like, oh shit, Britt Baker.
Yeah,
Big
her.
cast.
I looked up Forbidden Door and then I saw her face. I was like, fuck, all right. And then when she showed up, I was like, fuck. This would have been cool to just happen without me knowing it, but this is the problem with wrestling media. Like I kind of want to give a couple shout outs to a couple people who I follow. Um Lyric Swanson, Lyric Wrestling on Twitter is fantastic at what she does. She is a fan's fan. She talks about everything. Except WWE. She doesn't talk about WWE, but neither here nor there. And she
Neither do
doesn't
we.
and she doesn't pretend to be backstage to do things. She gives her opinion. She has news. She talks to wrestlers, does interviews. It's great. Also, the Grapsody podcast on Fightful. They kind of can get iffy sometimes, but they are really good about just being fans and talking about what they want to talk about, and they are not afraid to give just an opinion. They don't try to like hurt anyone's reputation or anything like that. They just talk about what they like and what they don't like, and they move on. That's what we need. We don't need hit pieces. We don't need the bullshit that we're getting right now.
Yeah. No, like, so you need more of us, right?
Yeah, more of us. What we're doing. Because we're fans who don't pretend like we know everything.
So I don't know about you. I don't know anybody in there. I'm just calling it how we're literally just calling it how we see it on TV. How we see it, and we're just giving our thoughts.
Because we're
That's all.
fans. We like what we talk about.
Yep.
It's just this is why I don't like Twitter discourse, because it's not just wrestling. Discourse everywhere sucks, and I hate social media because I don't need to see the opinions of idiots who can't even form a proper sentence. We don't need to see everyone's thoughts. And I quit Twitter a while ago. I've been back on it now. Like we didn't tell the podcast, but my Twitter was suspended, and I didn't even know it was suspended for months. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's so fucked up.
Because I hate social media because I hate hearing opinions of people who don't matter. I like opinions. I sometimes I go out of my way to see people talk about things like basketball and wrestling and anime, but I don't need to see the people who pretend like they know everything backstage talking and just I don't like using wrestling terms either, but burying other wrestlers that are out there. I don't. It's stupid, and I'm also tired. I'm just so tired of this.
Right.
I don't know, man. It's just I think at the end of the day, um Mercedes is a great champion. Swerve is a great champion. Uh, who else? Because there's discourse about a lot of people who are stupid. People are upset at Ricochet for leaving WWE. Um, I'll even go to
Shout out to Ricochet.
I'll even go to the other
Ricochet,
side. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Ricochet, good on you. Bet on yourself, dude. Because look, I'm gonna say this right here and right now. Ricochet is one of the best fucking high flyers in the world, and they grounded him in WWE just so he wouldn't go anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's complete bullshit. Go watch King Ricochet, man. King Ricochet is the best high flyer in the world.
Go watch
And
some.
guess what?
Go watch some
He's
Prince
gonna
Puma.
go and watch Prince Puma. 100%. When this guy is actually let loose, when he inevitably shows up in AEW and he's gonna do his thing, you're gonna see why he is the best high flyer in the world. And I'm already ready for that match between him and Vikingo because that shit's gonna be insane.
Woo. I'm
Him and Vikingo, him versus everybody in CMLL. I don't care. You're gonna see Prince Puma, King Ricochet. You're gonna see that boy go off, and it's gonna be good. And you're gonna wonder why. Oh, why wasn't he doing this in WWE? Because they fucking grounded him.
mm-hmm.
They told him he couldn't do all of his moveset. They said you have to dumb it down for the fans.
God, it's so
Yeah,
stupid. I wanna flip it.
shit.
I wanna flip it too. There are also people that are upset that Ricky Starks wants to leave. Like it
Let him.
exactly.
He's tailor made for WWE.
Yes.
He that see like, and that's another thing too, right? There's people in AEW that are tailor made for WWE that should go to WWE 100%. Let them go.
Yes.
There's people tailor made that are in WWE that are tailor made for AEW. What's wrong with them going from one company to the next? Guess what, guys? What's it's best for the wrestler. If the wrestler is fucking happy and they're doing their goddamn thing, why do you care? Why do you care so much? Let Ricky
Exactly.
Starks do his thing, dude. Let him do
Exactly.
his thing. If he's gonna be in NXT, let him do his thing. Let him be with Sean Spears and fucking sorry, Ricky. I didn't mean to crap on Sean Spears and who's the other guy?
Man, we had a good moment too. We were having a good sec. We had a good second.
Yeah, I fucked it up. Oh
Oh,
man.
I mean, I said earlier that I fucking hate WWE, so it is what it is.
I was trying to be nice and then and then it turned into fucking I saw red.
But yeah, that's the point though. Like that's why discourse is stupid, and it's just there are so many people who have to. There's so many wrestlers who have to see the discourse. Like Swerve, for example. Swerve is a fucking lunatic. He sees everything. Like, did you see when he won the title at Dynasty?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see what he did on Twitter
Yeah.
after?
What did you do?
On he had tweets that I'm guessing he bookmarked from like his debut in AEW and some of them from when he was in NXT doing Hit Row and WWE doing Hit Row. Uh, and he tweeted all of them and was like doing like gifs and shit like receipts and like laughing emojis and shit like that. Because Swerve's a fucking lunatic. He sees it all. And Swerve is cool with it. That seems cool. But there are a lot of other people who see all of it. And I'm just so annoyed with people who have never been in a ring trying to down talk all of these people who are living their dream and doing what they want to do. I'm just done with it.
Yep. Well, I'm just gonna speak on one more person that should leave one place and go to another.
Uh huh.
Dakota Kai.
Ooh, I can see that.
Dakota Kai needs to get the fuck out of WWE.
I can see that.
Like they don't. A few days ago, she was literally crying on air, talking about how she pretty much, they just refuse to push her. Refuse.
We need a WWE AEW trade system. Like how you could trade Pokemon and shit. We need something like that.
That'll never happen.
Like fucking like I know Malachi wants to be back over in WWE. Maybe again, I'm reporting shit that I don't know. I hate discourse. Malachi might want to be with his wife in WWE. There should be like a little trade. So WWE gets Malachi, and then AEW gets like Chad Gable for like 3 months, and just see what's going on and like do like a wrestler facts, like a Carfax thing. And if it doesn't work, we can sign and do shit. Like people should be
Well,
where they need to be.
you know what you just said right now?
I do.
Do you realize what in what era that was that where that shit actually did happen?
I do, but you should say it.
That was during the territories, man.
Yep.
During the territories, they would like go, hey, um, all right, I'm gonna send we'll just say for an example, I'm gonna send Junkyard Dog over to Lawler's territory for like 3 or 4 months so he could get some experience out there. Maybe like win a title for like a month or 2 months or something like that. And then he'll drop the title and then he'll come back here. And because the fans haven't seen him in a long time, they're gonna pop for him over here and he's gonna gain some more notoriety and he's gonna go to another territory and another territory. And then they do that. Lawler comes over to that territory where Junkyard Dog is, or something like that. That's what was happening back in the territories before it was destroyed.
By Vince fucking McMahon. I don't know. I after this off the cuff, I don't want to talk about wrestling discourse anymore because it makes me a different person. I hate this. I'm gonna sound really narcissistic, but it's fine. I don't want to hear the opinions of fucking idiots that don't know what they're talking about. I don't. Like if you want to be a fan, if you want to talk about predictions stuff like that, cool. That's fine. Just other than that, shut the fuck up. That's all I got. What about you? What do you have closing thoughts? Because I can rant for an hour, but I think another
Oh
hour,
no,
but I think I'm good.
I'll just say closing thoughts. My closing thoughts is just in general, like we as a community of wrestling fans, we just gotta be better. We gotta be better. There's a whole bunch of things where, like we've talked about, like on this cast, which is pretty much our rant cast.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't figure it out, um, there's just a bunch of things where, yeah, we don't know what the hell we can rant and we can talk trash all we want, but we can. There's no real, there's no real point to it, right? Not especially if we don't know the context or what the fuck is going on there,
Mm-hmm.
just in general.
Just
Um, yeah, just in a general sense, we got to be better and have fun watching wrestling.
yeah, bro. Enjoy it. This is a pastime. Go to a show. Go see an indie. Take some time to watch YouTube and go watch Enjoy Wrestling. They're an actual indie promotion. They're fun as shit. I don't know why I'm calling them out specifically, but I've been watching them lately and they've been fun to watch. But otherwise, this is supposed to be fun. Just have fun, man. Stop being weird.
Yeah, just like video games, wrestling is supposed to be fun. Watch who you like. You don't have to shit on the other. I'll try not to crap on WWE, but that's not possible.
Nah, fuck that.
But watch who you like, have fun, and let's all be better. That's all I got.
Man. All right. I think that's it for off the cuff. Um this was I don't know, I guess we'll call this episode like 3.5 of the pod. I don't know. We'll figure it out when it goes up. But
Yeah, we'll just call it off the cuff, which is our rant. Us ranting.
thank you all for listening. If you made it to this point, we appreciate you. And yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah. Again, like, thanks for listening. Like, comment, subscribe. Give us a shout out. All it back to us.
Peace out, y'all.
Later.